Hi everyone, it's the Hobby Dabbler. Today I'm going to be making another art journal page and I'll walk you through my process. So first of all, I started using a gel medium, a matte gel medium, and I started laying down a bunch of random paper pieces that I've saved up. Some of them were jelly printed, some of them were just stamped. There were some music sheets that was from a graphic novel, and some of them were just had bits of paint that I liked on them. So I'll keep adding those until the entire page is covered. And I go over top of the pieces of paper with the gel medium as well so that they're sealed. So when I add more layers that the paper underneath doesn't get wrecked. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. You just add them wherever you think they'll fit. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just winging it, really. Okay, now that I have my base layer down, I'm going to start adding my first layer of paint. And I'm choosing cool colors, blue, green, teal, and a warmer color, orange. And I'm just spreading it on with my finger. I'm kind of going in between where the pieces of paper that I glued down meet to blend that in a bit. I don't really have a rhyme or reason. I don't start a page knowing what it's going to turn out as. I kind of just go along with the flow and whatever comes out, comes out. So now I'm going in with a stencil to add a little bit more interest and a bit of texture. Now I'm going to add in my darker tone, my black, to give it some contrast. I wipe it down with a wet baby wipe to kind of soften it a little bit. It was a bit too dark. And then what I do is I take a stencil and coming out of the black blobs that I just painted, I stencil on some black. So it looks like it's coming out of the black blob. Now I'm just taking my sponge and the same colors that I started with, and I'm just lightly blending in a few places here and there to make it a little bit softer. Going back in with the few colors that I think needed to pop more. They kind of got covered in the process. I wanted them to stand out a little bit more. I'm adding a new shade of aqua, and I'm going to add um, stencils with that color. Now I'm going in with another shade of blue, just with a little palette knife. I'm just spreading it and it's leaving a little bit of texture as it goes. Now I'm adding on some of my homemade tissue paper. So I stamped these with just household objects and then pulled them apart into pieces. Now I'm just doodling a little bit, putting some black marks around the page loosely. And I'm gonna start doodling in with my white acrylic marker pen now. So adding some hoopy loopy things. And then I decided that this page should have some flowers. So I wanted to do some sketchy flowers. Now I'm going to go in with the same colors that I have in the background, and I'm going to fill the flowers in a little bit. I don't want to fill it in so much that you can't see through it, but I do want to make it apparent that the flowers, that it draws your eye to the flower. I want it to be the focal point. Now I'm taking my liquid acrylics and I'm using them to draw inside the flowers, and also later on I'll be doing it down in the loopy things at the bottom, and it adds a bit of shine to it because they dry kind of glossy. So I'm doing a different shades. Now I'm gonna go back in with my black ink marker, or my black acrylic marker, and I'm gonna go around the flowers again and just go inside them, give them a bit more definition. Now I'm taking my white Versamark ink pad and I'm trying to add a few elements with stamps. So I'm using the white to contrast with all the bright colors. And I found this loopy stamp that I thought would look good in the middle of the flowers. Now I'm going to do some black archival ink with some more stamps. I'm doing kind of a pattern along the stem of the flowers, and just a few stamps here and there to add some interest. Now I'm taking charcoal pencils. They're white and black. I started with the black one. I was trying to give some definition to the flowers. I was going through them again. I was trying to add a little bit of shadow to them. And I'm going up where my white loops were and just coloring it in with my white charcoal pencil and doing some down there. I just wanted it to look really sketchy and kind of grungy. And again, I'm going to go around the flowers. I really wanted everything to look sketchy and grungy looking, not planned, not perfect. I was going for the opposite of perfect. So just adding a few more details with my black ink, my black acrylic marker. Adding some dots here and there. Now I started to draw with my charcoal pencil, but it wasn't working, so I pulled out my white gel pen and I started to write out the word breathe, because that was something that I was having trouble with today, with getting through the day and just breathing. So that was it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and please don't forget to subscribe.